China's 2020 national census results, scheduled to be released in early April, have not been made public. In what appears to be an attempt to dispel assumptions of a demographic crisis in China, China's National Bureau of Statistics recently stated that the population would continue to grow in 2020. But previously, the Financial Times, based on a tip-off from a source, suggested that China's latest census showed that the total population had fallen below 1.4 billion, China's first population decline in about 60 years. Economic Information Daily, a subsidiary of the Chinese official media Xinhua News Agency, recently mentioned that the manufacturing industry in China is facing challenges of attracting workers and high wages, indicating a waning demographic dividend. It's like confirming China's population decline. Specific cases include an enterprise that needed to recruit 1,500 workers and spent a month recruiting only 150 people. Another electrical motor enterprise was short 400 workers and recruited only a dozen people in the past month. And by the end of February this year, 350 enterprises in Yiwu, Zhejiang province, reported a shortage of 38,000 workers. To recruit workers, many companies choose to relax the employment age limit. For example, the electric motor company increased the age limit from 30 to 55, but still could not attract enough workers. Some company managers reported that although the salary has increased by nearly 20% compared with previous years, they still can't find enough people. The newly emerging service industry in China, such as courier and Uber-like online taxi services, has attracted young people and may have diluted the workforce needed for manufacturing. But overall, the decline in the young population represents a diminishing workforce in China, creating a vicious cycle as the working population is burdened with caring for the elderly population, leaving no room for raising children and further stifling the fertility rate. The forceful implementation of the one-child policy by the CCP since 1978 has been so thorough that it has led to the inevitable aging of China's population. However, China's economic restructuring has not kept pace. Chinese industries still concentrate on mass manufacturing at a low cost. In the past, companies from developed countries chose Asian countries because of lower production costs. If China loses its demographic dividend due to the shortage in the workforce, it loses the advantage of attracting foreign investment. In addition, the international environment facing China has also undergone significant changes. The US-China trade war has shown the world the instability of setting up factories in China, which has prompted many foreign investors to move out. Consequently, these joint factors point to a slowdown in China's economic growth in the future. China's particular political system of bureaucracy has also exacerbated the country's demographic problems. To implement China's one-child policy, the CCP established a massive family planning commission in 1981. As early as 2000, experts have warned senior officials that China's birth rate dropped to 1.2, and it was time to abandon the one-child policy. But the officials of the Family Planning Commission did not want to lose out on the stakes, and they had been inflating the fertility rate figures for years. Such a game of inflated numbers continued for more than a decade until it became so evident that a wide range of problems in China, such as employment and pension deficits, did not match up with the national birth numbers. In 2016, the Chinese government finally allowed a family to have 2 children. In 2018, the Family Planning Commission came to an end, somewhat. But for a long time, China's economic, social, political, defense, and diplomatic policies, including pension policies, have been based on false demographic data, and such decisions will undoubtedly have long-lasting consequences in the future. The current gender imbalance in China has worsened the population situation, bringing about a series of social and economic challenges. Under normal circumstances, the laws of biology determine the sex ratio at birth. In an average situation, the sex ratio of human births should be close to 1:1. Since the risk of death is higher for males than females throughout the lifespan, an average sex ratio at birth in statistical and demographic terms should not exceed 107 to 100 for males versus females at most. However, some Chinese experts have suggested a sex ratio in China of 120 to 100 as early as 2007. Chinese people have a long-standing preference for sons over daughters, and the one-child policy has reinforced this preference. Families have been quietly aborting girl babies when they find out through the hospital or getting rid of them even after the birth. The consequence of the eliminated female population is the elimination of the offspring that could have been born. The cumulative effect has led to a decrease in the total population and a decline in the working age population between the ages of 15 and 64, which further accelerates the aging process in China. Population experts estimate that in the next 30 years, about 30 million men of childbearing age in mainland China will be unable to start a family. According to media reports, a 40-year-old Chinese businessman sued a Shanghai matchmaking agency in 2015 for failing to help him find a wife, despite having paid 7 million yuan to the agency. China has even coined a new term, mother-in-law economy. It refers to the phenomenon that in Chinese marriages, a woman's family will demand housing and other high costs from a man's family. If the man does not buy a house, the mother-in-law generally does not marry off the daughter, so to get married, the man must meet the mother-in-law's primary condition, to buy property, thus driving the real estate economy. China's real estate has become the most well-funded industry in the world.
女方当时第一个条件就是这个必须有个房。
现在好多这种事情，就你没房没车，好像都不想结婚那种。
因为我是儿子，必须得给我准备房，拼了命得给他买。
Buying a home has caused young Chinese men to take on huge debts at an early age, and this financial burden has made many of them postpone their marriage. When men are ready to start a family, they prefer women who are younger than them. In China, the age gap between couples is 10 to 20 years on average. This has somewhat made it difficult for many women to find a match. Consequently, not only does China have a lot of so-called leftover men, but also a lot of leftover women. On April 28, China's State Council officially released a population plan that calls for the elimination of the notion of male superiority over women and the passing of the family line. The phrase, eliminate the backward concept of male superiority over females and the passing of the family line, was read by 380 million people on China's Weibo within a day. For some Chinese netizens, this official move is probably due to a problem with the 2021 census, namely the disparity in the ratio of men to women. In reality, many of China's government policies are not friendly to women. For example, under China's strict household registration system, it is not only difficult for rural girls to leave the rural household registration system, but they often do not have the same access to the housing bases as men do. Many businesses avoid hiring women who have not had children because they do not want to bear the impact of the women's marriage, childbirth, and family care. Chinese netizens don't seem to be worried about the country's population crisis. On a well-known website, Jihu.com, the question was posed, why do some people feel happy to see a lower birth rate? It generated a lot of responses, one of which said, because more and more people understand the real meaning of demographic dividend. The population refers to oneself, but the dividend belongs to others. Thank you for watching. If you like our work, please hit that like button and share our content with a friend. We strive to bring you the latest news, commentary, and insights out of China. And we want to hear from you. Please comment and we will be sure to engage. Thanks again, and take care.